known to try and cover up and hide them as other religious communities are. In fact, I would even argue that the Unitarian Universalists have actually been more successful at covering up and hiding their own clergy sexual misconduct than some other communities. And, they've kept a lid on it for decades. It's only recently that the truth is starting to come out. And I think partly because I've been doing a pretty good job of exposing it. I'm not the only person, of course, but I'm probably the one who's most active online in terms of exposing and denouncing not only Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct, but other forms of Unitarian Universalist clergy misconduct, and of course various other Unitarian Universalist injustices and abuses. But certainly on the clergy sexual misconduct front, I have blogged, about some of the worst cases. By no means all of them, not even all the ones I know about. There's actually a certain number of cases of Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct that I've never even blogged about yet. So, I got a few more people coming out. Yeah, as usual, they're doing their very best to avoid seeing the signs. It's funny, the willful ignorance, psychological denial that Unitarian Universalists seem to wallow in. This is a religious community whose fourth principle calls for a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, whose second principle calls for justice, equity, compassion in human relations. And yet, when you protest against Unitarian Universalist injustices and abuses and hypocrisy, these people, knowingly and willfully literally turn blind eyes. They're not blind, physically, but they physically look away from the picket signs. They physically do their very best not to even see what's on the signs. They look at something else, whatever. They really don't want to know. They're not the least bit interested in knowing the truth. So I will say that, in my right hand, the picket sign says, Unitarian Universalists misuse blasphemy law 2. And then it's got, 3 little dots for an ellipsis over to the other picket sign. In my left hand, cover up and deny pedophilia and rape. So all in one go, a Unitarian Universalist misuse blasphemy law to cover up and deny pedophilia and rape. And this is an entirely truthful statement, as far as I'm concerned, based on the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations did in fact hire Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer, Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe, to accuse me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel, which is in fact, Canada's blasphemy law, to try to intimidate me into removing blog posts about Unitarian Universalists who are guilty of committing such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape. So there's really no question that the Unitarian Universalist Association, cited, through their Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer, Canada's blasphemy law in illegal bullying that's clearly intended to intimidate me into taking down blog posts about Unitarian Universalist.
You mean like the Catholic Church?
Yes, very much like the Catholic Church. Yes, you got it. They're not the only ones. But I'll tell you one thing. I've never at any time heard of the Catholic Church trying to accuse anyone of blasphemy for talking about clergy abuse. Have you?
Maybe not recently.
No, but
Yeah.
but this is the crazy thing. This is the 21st century, and Unitarian.
Fucked up, though.
What?
I said that's pretty fucked up.
I think so. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. So yes, the guy says that's pretty fucked up. Have a good one, and I am having a good one. And yes, it's pretty fucked up, to use his terms, that the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations in the 21st century would cite Canada's blasphemy law in legal bullying that's clearly intended to force me to remove blog posts about convicted Unitarian Universalist rapists. Yeah, I could hardly put it better myself. And most ironically, I think I actually, this morning in my tweeting, I think I used a very similar term to describe this legal bullying. Basically, I get this wry smile from the woman who actually did look at the picket signs. That's another response, you know, that when Unitarian Universalists actually do bother to read the picket signs, they nonetheless try to pretend, you know, they're not true. I think that wry smile was a oh really kind of smile. Good morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I presume you're thanking me for stepping out of the way, not for the picket signs. So, gentleman coming out of the church says thank you. I'm pretty sure he's not referring to the picket signs. Could be wrong though, you know, maybe he is thanking me for protesting against Unitarian Universalist misuse of blasphemy law to cover up and deny pedophilia and rape, but if he is, you'd think that he could show his appreciation by demanding an explanation from UUA President, Reverend Dr. Peter Morales, demanding that the UUA must withdraw its ludicrous blasphemous libel accusation against me and apologize for bringing it against me. I should add that as far as I'm concerned, the Unitarian Universalist Association owes an apology not only to me personally, but also to those victims of such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape, who they have, you know, tried to keep hidden, you know, tried to deny that these things happen. I think they even owe an apology to the greater Unitarian Universalist religious community for making a total mockery of Unitarian Universalist principles and ideals, and also making a total mockery of the traditional opposition to the use of blasphemy laws by Unitarians and or Universalists. And yeah, I think they even owe Canadians an apology for trying to misuse Canada's blasphemy law in clergy abuse, cover-up, legal bullying. So, yeah, I don't think I'm the only person they owe an apology to. So anyway, people are coming out. It's probably past noon now. It's probably somewhere around, I really don't know because I didn't check my clock or watch prior to starting the protest, but I mean, it's, you know, I'm sure past noon. And people are coming out. So yeah, we're not going to stick around too long. As I said earlier, I think I will probably go to an International Women's Day march and bring along these picket signs to sort of raise consciousness to the Unitarian Universalists' misuse of blasphemy law to try to cover up pedophilia and rape, which, you know, mostly affects women. I would say that most victims of rape and or pedophilia committed by Unitarian Universalist ministers, to say nothing of Unitarian Universalist Sunday school teachers, are female. But by no means all of them. There are male victims of rape, male victims of pedophilia committed by Unitarian Universalist clergy and or religious educators, Sunday school teachers. That's another issue that I haven't really seen the Unitarian Universalist Association address. They generally frame clergy sexual misconduct as being against women. I can't recall seeing Unitarian Universalists speak openly about clergy sexual misconduct in which males are the victims. But they basically have tried very hard not to talk about it at all. They have on various occasions acknowledged that they have a problem, and then they've quickly forgotten about it. Done a terrible job of reforming the clergy misconduct policies and procedures so that they actually have some credibility. One of the worst aspects of the this woman going into the church, one of the leading members of the church. I can't remember her name offhand, but she certainly has been a board member in the past, and reasonably sure she's been president of the church in the past, but I could be mistaken about that. She definitely was involved in the attempt to force an end to my protest by trying to obtain a restraining order. At rock bottom minimum, she was one of the public witnesses at the